Welcome to the program, Louie Gohmert, congressman who is now running for Speaker of the House against John Boehner. How are you doing, sir?
Well, as far as I know, I'm okay, Glenn. Thank you.
I know you didn't take this on lightly because we've asked you, if you would do this in the past, and
Yep.
you have said no. What
Well,
made
I'll
you
tell you, it was other members saying, Louie, you are the only one that can really do this and get the outside groups going. And I was saying, guys, you've heard me chastise our members. I just, you saw the results of the RSC race, and they said this is a different race. We've got to get 29 plus. And anyway, I was persuaded, okay, I'll be the sacrificial lamb. I will get out there, but it's not just me. There are others. But people have got a choice now, and those people that have been telling their constituents in the past, well, gee, I would not have voted for Boehner, but nobody ran against them. Well, now somebody is. And if we get 29 votes or more, then there'll be a second ballot, and we will have a chance to change our leadership. But Glenn, some people have said, well, why didn't somebody run? Why didn't you run back in November? Well, we had just had a massive election, and our speaker went out and said, we're going to fight tooth and nail against the president's illegal amnesty. He said all the right things. And, you want to believe somebody wouldn't go out that boldly if they didn't intend to follow that. But now, we promised we would fight against Obamacare. Glenn, we just funded Obamacare with the navigators, more IRS, all of that. We've already funded that through this whole year. That was in the Cromnibus. No wonder Obama was willing to make calls and get people lobbied up to vote for the Boehner bill. It was a bad bill. And then, of course, the promise, but we kept the budget for DHS, Homeland Security, that is, held that out for leverage. That's the one hostage that the president wouldn't mind us shooting. I don't see how this plays out. Our speaker says, okay, Mr. President, if you don't stop your illegal amnesty, we're not going to fund the Border Patrol, and the border will be wide open. Okay. I mean, we gave away the leverage of everything the president cares about in the Cromnibus, and that's why so many Republicans simply could not vote for it.
Okay, so tell me how this process works. Because do you even have a shot? Is there a chance that somebody worse than John Boehner, Nancy Pelosi? I mean, tell me how this works.
Thank you for asking that. That is a piece of misinformation that people have used, saying, well, anybody that does not vote for Boehner is going to give the gavel to Nancy Pelosi. Glenn, that cannot happen unless 59 Republicans vote present. Only if 59 Republicans vote present can Nancy Pelosi have a chance at all. So anybody that votes present, they're helping Boehner and Pelosi by lowering the number that you have to get a majority. But the rules of the House, going back to Thomas Jefferson's rules of the House, they are very clear. A candidate must get a majority of all of those on the House floor voting for a person. It doesn't have to be a member of Congress, but it does need to be an American citizen and adult. Anybody is eligible that is. And so you don't have to be nominated for your vote to count, but as long as Republican members vote for a person, that even if it's not me or Ted Yoho, some are saying they like Dan Webster. I'd said I could vote for Dan. But as long as they vote for a person, then Pelosi can never become Speaker because she's got 188 votes max. She can't overcome the necessary 218 to win.
Here's the scary thing. I know your system well enough to know, Louie. I mean, you're toast. If you don't win, you're toast. And that's exactly what they're going to be saying. That's what Boehner is saying to everybody right now. Hey, listen, you don't vote for me. You don't play ball with me now. you're not getting on any committee. You're not going to be heard from again. How do you make sure that those who tend to lack essentials in their underpants actually step to the plate here and do the right thing?
Well, I think you're going to have a lot of members that hear from their constituents that, hey, we're the ones that elected you, not John Boehner. But I tell you what, Glenn, there is some real intimidation going on. Apparently this morning there was a statement released by Boehner's people saying David Bratt was going to vote for him. And I think probably an intimidation involves we're going to get names out there of people that may not vote for us, but when they see in print that we're counting on them voting for us, they'll be afraid not to vote for Boehner. And unfortunately for Boehner, the David Bratt had a piece out this morning saying he's not voting for Boehner. So I don't think the speaker can actually trust his whip count. But Glenn, you and I have talked on the air, off the air enough. We both have our accountability to the same place, and it's not to the Speaker of the House. I know a few years ago, one of our members in a very contested situation said to the Speaker, hey, you're our shepherd, we're your sheep, tell us what you think we should do. I said, look, I've got two shepherds. One's my heavenly shepherd, and the other is my 700,000 constituents in East Texas, and you're not in either one of those categories. We can look to leadership for guidance, but ultimate responsibility is to our Maker, but especially to those who sent us here. And listen, there's a lot at stake here if we don't do this. Glenn, one other quick thing, they're using intimidation, saying, gee, you're going to cost us the 2016 election by creating controversy. No, the controversy is there, and Pat Goodell was on there last night saying that figuring through his numbers, the polling data that they just did, 25 to 33% of Republicans and independents that voted Republicans in 2014 are ready to walk away. That would give the election. Yeah. Well,
let me tell you something, Louie. I am so sick and tired. Who was it that said, you or Ted Cruz? Somebody said, it's always the next time.
Yeah,
it's always next time. We can't do it. We can't do it this time because of the next election. But as soon as that election's over, we'll do it the next time. I've had enough. And I think America has had enough.
We've been hearing that for 9 years. Speaker Boehner was elected majority leader in early 2008. And he said, look, this is perfect. There's only about 10 or 11 months. You vote for me now, you'll find out if I'm the leader you need by November. And on election night in November, we lost the majority. That wasn't 08, that was 06. That was 06. And then November of 06, the night of the election, while most of us were sick to our stomachs to think about all the different people, Democrats that would be holding gavels and controlling Congress, one person wasn't thinking about that, and that was our current speaker calling everybody and saying, hey, this wasn't fair. I didn't get a full 2 years. You got to give me a full 2-year term. So he got a full 2-year term. And as you'll recall, 2008 didn't go all that well for us either. And the only reason we won the majority in 2010 was not because of our leadership. It was because the Democrats made people so mad.
It's in spite of the leadership. Let me give a number. Right. Call the switchboard. I want you to call your congressman and you hold their feet to the fire. Do not vote for John Boehner. It is time that you have a chance. I need you to hear me carefully. You think that you have lost. You feel beaten up. You feel like you can't make a difference. You have a chance. There are these signposts that come up from time to time. This is one of them. Let's nail this one. Call 202-224-3121. Talk to your congressman. Tell him to vote for Louie Gohmert. Tell him, more importantly, tell them that if they vote for John Boehner, you're done with them. 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. Louie, you're Speaker of the House. Tell me how things change. What do you do?
We start using as was promised, every weapon at our disposal to stop the illegal, unconstitutional amnesty. We secure the border and we make it clear to the president, yes, we know we need immigration reform, but we're not changing anything until you secure the border, and here's the money to do it, and we're defunding your czars, we're defunding everything that means anything to you that America doesn't need. We're defunding all of these things unless you secure the border, and until you secure the border, as confirmed by unanimous border states, we're not doing immigration reform. Then we decentralize the speaker's power. That's a problem. It's a monopoly. You only get one vote on the steering committee, not 4 or 5. We get in high gear and we finish all investigations. We hold groups and agencies and departments accountable for wrongdoing. We throw out the current tax code. I want a flat tax. Some want a fair tax, a sales tax. Let's have that debate. We throw out the code, and then we go with whichever wins, fair tax or flat tax. We end the automatic increase every stinking year in every federal department and agency's budget. Nobody else gets that. The government shouldn't either. We stop the government spying on American people. We create some reform in our committee structure. We've got to have a public assistance committee or subcommittee that has every single piece of welfare in it. That's how we've been beat for 40 years, is because if you say, wait, I don't think we ought to fund this program, it's duplicitous, there's too many like it, it's waste, then they say, oh, you hate children or women or veterans. No, we don't. We love them all, but we don't need 87 agencies doing the same thing. We create an energy policy that does not provide any subsidies for any energy. Let's let the market tell us which energy to use. We have competitive groups scoring our bills. We end the CBO monopoly of scoring. We get screwed by them virtually every time. We force removal of at least two-thirds of the regulations. Reagan forced Congress to do it, and he had a Democratic Congress. And this is a biggie. Every 2 years, instead of before we have a speaker's election, the party in power has a vote of confidence or no confidence. And if the speaker gets a no confidence vote, he can't run, and we get a new speaker. That's the way it ought to be, so that we don't have a dictatorship in Congress.
Well, I think those sound like a good start. Louie, I thank you for your service. I thank you for your loyalty to your constituents and to God and to the Constitution. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much, Louie. We'll talk again soon.
Glenn, thank you so much for your friendship.
You bet. Louie has a 100 score on FreedomWorks.